Welcome to Gittone Stadium on November 2nd, 2018 for the start of football playoffs in New Jersey. Today's first round game between Toms River North Mariners and the Vineland Fighting Clan. North comes in at 6-2. Vineland is 3-5. I am John Pernatazzi, your colored commentator, along with Rich Scarper, play-by-play. And just a couple things about North, Rich. We played them years ago, back-to-back years, and we come out with 2 wins, and the coach swore he never played Vineland again because God lived in Vineland. There were games that we won like in the last 30 on stupid plays, freak plays. The coach up there at the pep rally had a chicken, and he broke the neck in front of the students. And, we didn't find that out till, after the game. Some people told us. But it's been a long time since we have faced Toms River North. And, Rich, I watched them on film. You did. And they're a very disciplined team. Their line is very good, as you pointed out. And this will be a good test for Vineland, especially without their quarterback.
Yeah, so Vineland picks up the 4 seed in the playoffs here. 1, 2, and 3 seeds are all 3 teams we've played this year and played them tight. So now it's a 4-5 matchup with Toms River North coming in. You may remember, we've talked about Toms River North before. It was a couple years ago where we almost got them in the first round of the playoffs, but we played Hal. And then Millville and Toms River North met for the state championship where Millville won 22-16. So this is a good experienced team led by Coach Oz in his 6th season. And they are 41-34. Now, as a program, they've been to the playoffs 17 times, have 6 championships. Coming into this one, they've won 3 in a row. Now, for Vineland, it's Coach Russo's Fighting Clan at 3-5, ranked 95th in the state, while Toms River North is ranked 69th. Coach Russo, 27-31 in his 6th season. And Vineland has in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, which is the first in Vineland High School history. Now, the downside to that, Vineland's still looking for that first playoff win. Coach and I weren't able to get it done in '84, but now for Vineland, they're going to have to do that. And first of all, we're glad everybody's out here, or everybody's watching and listening. The weather is horrible. Fans are coming in a little late, but we're going to get you through this playoff game. And the reason we can do that is because of our sponsors. So let's give them a moment and thank our sponsors for today's Vineland High School football game.
The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of Vineland High School football team this season. Sir Speedy, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Newfield National Bank, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Caters, Allen Associates, Delsey ShopRite, Bella Limousine, Medio Law Firm, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Technid Consulting, Vineland Education Association, Begal University, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria and Restaurant, MVP Sports Bar, Richling Carpet and Flooring, GNS Dry Cleaners, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Bondi Insurance Agency, Dr. Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, Baruffi Brothers, Beretta Plumbing, Heating and Cooling,
Luciano Medical, Van Dodge, and Homestead Plumbing and Heating.
The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
some football, and as I was leading in, Vineland looking for that first playoff win in their 9th try, but they're going to have to do it without their leading passer and their leading rusher, junior Ryan Shelton, as most of us have already found out, is out with a broken collarbone. So it's going to be the leading tackler on defense and one of our top receivers, the junior Tyreen Powell, taking over at quarterback. This is going to be his first time at quarterback since midget football. Now, offensive coordinator Coach Volpe says the playbook will not be scaled back and that Powell is ready to go with the full complement of plays and formations. Injury update for Vineland. Running back, defensive back J.P. Garcia is active tonight, and defensive back, kick returner DeAndre Tall Kennedy also is back from injury. And as we get ready for the Mariners to take over on offense, they have a high-powered offense averaging 32 points a game this year, while Vineland just at 17 points. And they're led by a massive offensive line, Coach.
Yeah, their line, I watched them on film, and you pointed it out early, they really come off the ball. They're well coached, and let's see what they can do against our defensive line.
We'll give you a little more info on that offensive line, but ready to kick off now. It's a high, short kick. Fair caught by a different guy. You got to make sure you're on him. So they'll take over right about the 26-yard line. Nice kick by Aparicio. So that offensive line for the Mariners, take a listen here. Colin Cross, 6 foot 250. Danny Crow, 6 foot 260. Stephon Drew, 6'2", 260. Najar Hallenbach, 6'7", 300. And tight end C.J. Niskowski at 5'11", 245. So they're really big, and they get off the line in a hurry, but not the fastest. For Vineland up front defensively, back up on that defensive end position or tackle position is Anthony Reyes, along with Malloy on the other side, with Robinson in the middle. And it's going to be a quick throw to get it going, and right down on the ground, maybe a gain of 1. Pass protection wasn't great in what I watched for them. They're a much better run blocking team, and a lot of their runs are bellies and they head to the inside a little bit. They have tremendous speed at the running back position with Jared Pruitt, who runs a 4.440 and was part of a state championship 4x400 track team. He had 3 touchdowns last week. So to throw it again, looks for a slant and it's dropped. Aaron Craig not able to hold on to it.
Yeah, I think that's the first sign of the weather. You know, people don't realize how slippery that ball is. I mean, the quarterback threw it well.
As Coach mentions the weather, it rained heavy a little while ago, and there's a steady light rain coming down now, so everything is slick. The field, thank goodness we have a turf field here. Otherwise, I don't know how much longer we'd be able to play on this one. And it looks like a false start on the offense, so that's going to put them behind the chains. At quarterback for the Mariners is sophomore quarterback Jake Kanowski, 6'2", 185. He has some arm strength, likes to get rid of it quick, but as we mentioned, Tyreen Powell getting his first start at quarterback. We have a quarterback here getting their first playoff start. Beautiful coverage on the play as that's broken up. That's Isaiah Blakely. The pass on the money. Would have had to run for a first down after it, but that defense holds up, and we'll identify the rest of them next time out. But you have a 4th and about 14. Vineland with 2 guys back to return. High snap over the head. It's down to the 2. He runs with it. He stops and turns. He's hit and dropped. Vineland with great field position after Tyreen Powell makes the tackle at the 2-yard line as Sergio Borda has it go through his hands. It looked like he had a chance to kick it, Coach, as he ran to the top, but he tried to outrun a couple of Vineland defenders, and Tyreen Powell, the starting quarterback tonight, makes the big play, sets Vineland up 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. You talked about a wet ball and some trouble, and that one squeezed right through the hands of Borda.
Yeah, we got a break here. And that's what sometimes makes you a winner, when you get some good breaks.
Medina at center, Bachma and Eckert at guards. And Tyrene Powell takes it himself, looks to head in the end zone, and just that quick, Vineland High School on the scoreboard, a three-yard run by Powell with 11:06 to go. Vineland capitalizes quickly, and there's a nice push on that offensive line on the right side as Powell goes untouched. Anderson and Dutra at the tackle spots, tight end Anthony Reyes. Barry Turner is going to do the holding here, as Henry Garton looks to convert, I believe, his 8th in a row. It's down. There's big pressure. He gets it up and away, and good. And just that quickly, the Fighting Clan jump on top. One play from the offense. Boy, Garton's been a nice addition with 2 field goals on the year. I believe he's made 9 out of his last 10 extra points. And as I always say about the kickers, there's a lot of things: blocking, a snap, a hold, and a kick. So when you go 9 out of 10, it doesn't necessarily mean you missed one.
That was a big break, Rich. That changes the complexion of the game.
Yeah, and to get that head start early and now have a little room to work with, and you put what I think is going to be the key to this playoff run for Vineland isn't really going to be the offense. I think we both know this defense is a very, very good defense that got better with the move of Reyes back to the line, out of that linebacker spot. He did a great job there, but what he's able to do up on that line really frees up. And Lathan Kent, the sophomore that's in there, he's moving up the tackling charts. So just that quick, and let's see, once again, Aparicio is going to try to put it to the 25 in the corner. This one goes a little deeper, may be able to return this. Right at the 20, little stutter step, moves to the outside, and great coverage by Vineland as Aaron Craig has nowhere to go. It's been a little bit of a rough start for Craig with a couple of drops and nowhere to move on that one, so they're going to take over right at the 27-yard line.
I don't have a number 23.
For which team, Coach?
For Vineland. I don't have him on my roster.
That's Nashawn Gregory.
He made a great play on the kickoff.
A little belly on the inside. He finds a little bit of room. Nice run that time before Kent and Robinson bring him down. So we talk about that Vineland defense, talk about who's leading a team in tackles and everything else. Some of the guys haven't been there all year. I think J.J. Delgado, who had to miss the first 5, is climbing up the charts and probably has his fair share, if not the most tackles per game, but it's Tyrene Powell with 61 leading the way with Reyes with 49 after him. To throw again, slant, dropped. Here in feet as Gregory's in great position again. And he had Blackwell over the top, 3rd and 6.
You can't ask for more than a quarterback doing what he's doing. He's hitting the targets right on.
Yeah,
What's that, 2 drop passes already?
I remember 2 years ago in the playoffs where we had Hal come down here and throw the ball about 35, 40 times, and we hadn't seen anything like that. But playing Timber Creek earlier, and some of these other teams have thrown the ball a lot, and it's really got these defensive backs ready to go. And Coach Cliff Smith, the defensive coordinator, has done an outstanding job with identifying formations. And looks like another penalty as this is starting rough for Toms River North, as a procedure call is going to make it 3rd and 11. So we go through the tackling leaders. Blackwell, the inside backer, with 47. Blakely with 44. Malloy with 36. Broom, 35. And Broom last year, I believe, led the team in tackles, but he moved from that inside linebacker to a cornerback position, has done an outstanding job. He's also now the active leading rusher for Vineland in this game tonight. But big 3rd down here. Make it officially 3rd and 10. Vineland sends pressure. Kent's picked up. It's thrown. Complete and steps out of bounds. Looks like he may be a little short of the 1st down. So let's see if Toms River North is going to try to go for this. I think they should be punting, but let's see. And sure enough, Coach Oz sends the punt team in. Well, I want to open this window and yell down, watch the ball, don't jump.
Yeah. It's going to be another adventure. Maybe the punting game is what we need tonight.
Otis Harold back on one side for Vineland. It's a good snap. Takes a few steps, low line drive. And Vineland's going to have to get out of the way of that, but they'll start in decent field position at their 25 after the defense forces a 3 and out. It's time for that offense to come back out. And that's an awful lot of football in a minute and 51 seconds, Coach. We've had 2 possessions by the Mariners, 1 by Vineland, and we're not even 2 minutes into this ball game. Mariners with a 3-4 traditionally. Don't like how that nose is upright. Powell rolls, fires. Low and incomplete, intended for Reyes. You can see when Reyes hit the turf there, the water bouncing up there. It's pretty slick out there.
Yeah, that'll be the key to this game if Powell can throw the ball, Rich.
When you talk about a kid under pressure, Tyreen Powell, one of the area's leading receivers, leading tacklers. There's give up the middle. It's defended well initially. Not much on that run. As we mentioned coming into the season, last year, having Tyreen Powell play some receiver was big. Had an injury in midget football, wasn't able to play as a freshman. Worked himself back to where he got cleared to play offense, then got cleared to play defense. And now he's attempting to take over for Vineland High School's, in my memory, only the second quarterback to throw for 1,000 yards, and Ryan Shelton. Ryan Shelton's surgery went good on his clavicle. There's collarbone, and he is on the sideline with his team tonight. But 4th and about 4. It's like Vineland will be punting it back. And there's some speed back there for the Mariners, and Zach Goodale and Vinny Palmieri. Snell to kick. His punting has just gotten better and better every single game. He's got it. He's got time. Beautiful high end over end kick, going to hit down right at the 40 where it's taken and brought down immediately by Blakely, who gets himself another tackle after a 2-yard return. So good starting field position for Toms River after Vineland not able to pick up a first down. Our crew's done a nice job as always, and they're out there getting wet, half of them. Crew tonight, Kayla Spire, Tanner Bushman, Jordan Skarzinski, crew chiefs Brian Anthony and Ryan Steinbrown, and executive producer of VPS TV is Jim Masori, the school district's public information officer. So it's been a lot of passing early for the Mariners. Now they try to run a little blast, and that's a tough spot to run. It hasn't been effective all year long as Reyes comes out of the bottom of that. Blakely in there also, along with Delgado.
Rich, the Blakely has really improved. He really has become a real force on that defense.
And we got to hear a little bit pregame. His brother having an awesome season, has a few touchdowns at Fairleigh Dickinson. So back to pass. There's time and late pressure. He's hit as he throws it and incomplete as Nazir Broom uses his speed to get back and knock that away as Deshaun Wilder, one of the faster players on the field for the Mariners, had a few steps, but with that pressure and that hit, that ball hung in the air and Broom closed in a hurry. DeAndre Tall Kennedy checks in, number 2.
That was a well-thrown ball.
Yeah, if he was able to plant his front foot, I think he would have had something there. Tall Kennedy matched up at the bottom of the screen. This is his first game back since the first game of the year, I believe. Slant over the middle. It's tipped high and incomplete. It's going to be 4th and 13. The defense holds yet again as, boy, they're throwing the ball all over, Coach, with nice patterns and nice routes, but we're there right away. Be able to make a play and make a hit. They're paying the price for these.
Third possession for Toms River, their third punt. They don't have a first down. And, of course, they had that big fumble, which
yeah, and
really helped
again,
us.
a second drive that loses yards. I just don't see how they're going to run belly on the inside on Vineland. Now to punt, pressure, gets it away, short, and picked up. Maybe returns it for a yard is Harold. He missed the first big hop, had to wait, and gets on it and stops it from rolling up the field a little more. But Vineland will take over, looks like at their own 29-yard line. Take a look at Vineland's offense so far this year. Interesting thing, we talked about it last game, but Vineland with 1,222 passing yards, 1,264 rushing yards coming in. So they're split right down the middle, 51 and 49% of their yards on each side. Powell tries to draw them off. They hold. Powell's going to take it himself. He heads to the top. He has a nice little seam to run through and picks up about 5. And that's what Vineland's rushing game has done on the year. They're averaging 5 yards a rush, 12 yards a reception, and 6.5 yards per passing attempt. The one thing about the rushing game, they haven't been able to get through the middle of the field that often. They're more on the edge and more on the quarterback draw when they're in the middle. And that's something Toms River North has been susceptible to, is that quarterback draw as they open up in the middle. Linebacker Jordan Johnson, number 15, he needs to stay home. And that's a real nice play that time.
Powell don't seem to be bothered by it, Rich. He's back here. He's been pretty cool. He's run the ball. He passed it. He hands it off. He seems to have settled into the job pretty good.
It's Tom Monaco on the stop now, 3rd and short, 3rd and 2. Powell makes one miss, makes another miss, stays on his feet, has the first down, keeps dragging forward across the 50-yard line. What a run by Powell. Boy, he was hitting the backfield and was going to lose 2 or 3, and Vineland was going to have to punt. He breaks that tackle and a couple more. So we mentioned Tyreen Powell. There's a lot to tackle there. Tyreen Powell comes in at 6'4", 285. Nazir Broom alongside Powell now. We're almost halfway through the first quarter. Vineland on the move. 6 minutes and 10 seconds in running in this first quarter. And there's a give over the left side. There's an opening and a real nifty cut. Does Broom have the speed to outrun the defense as he gets down inside the 15? What a burst of speed by Broom.
Boy, that's been a very successful play for Vineland. That slant off the left side.
Boy, he set those blocks up too. You know, he dips to the inside, gets his block before he comes outside. Broom comes into this one just under 500 yards rushing. He's over that now for the season. So 1st and 10 Vineland at the 15-yard line. Powell gives after a little juggle, and they forced their way up for 5 or 6.
Yeah, they're down here knocking on the door again, Rich. They're inside the 10.
You know, we'll talk a little more about that later. I'm going to hold up a little bit, see what we can do here as Reyes comes back in tight. Powell gives big pressure, needing to stay on his feet and not able to that time is Broom. Just a wholesale attack up the middle that time. as Ryan Holland, the outside linebacker, comes slanting in to make a play. So I believe you are in Henry Garton range because he has that 36-yard field or 34-yard field goal earlier in the year, but there is a breeze, and it's kind of going from the bottom of your screen to the top towards the visitor sideline. But we still have another down to go here. Powell to throw. Looks for Reyes. Does he make a catch? Oh, my goodness. Reyes picks it off the turf. What an outstanding catch by Reyes. And Powell, the first one down to congratulate him as Reyes sets Vineland up first and goal inside the 2-yard line.
That's showing some confidence in Powell.
Well, that's what Coach Volpe said, and Coach Russo. The playbook has not been limited, and they're showing that now. We talk about receivers. Reyes, not a ton, but he's averaging 21 yards a reception. Powell takes it himself, cuts to the inside. It looks like he's in, and he is for the score on the 2-yard run as the rain starts to come down really hard. Vineland now up 13-0. And we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this first quarter. This has been an energized Vineland team. The crowd is pretty good for a miserable rainy night. But it would have been nice if it wasn't raining tonight, Coach. We could have filled this home side up as Vineland looks to advance in the playoffs for the first time in school history. And it's a fake. Floated, incomplete. Not a design fake. Ball got away from the holder, and he's the backup quarterback also as he takes it and tries to make something happen, but that goes incomplete as Turner scrambles to the outside, and you can see in that picture it is coming down hard now. Now, one thing that cost Vineland against Williamstown, Lenape, and Rancocas, the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in Group 5 South, were turnovers. We haven't had turnover problems in the past 2 games. It's been really handled. It hasn't happened. At one game we had 6 turnovers, and we lose by 3 points to the number 3 seed in South Jersey. So you eliminate the turnovers. This is what could happen, but I mentioned those turnovers because there's going to be a few happening, and hopefully they're just on the Mariners' side as this rain continues to fall.
Yeah, our ground game, no coach wants to play in bad weather. It takes away all practice. It takes away. But what you need in bad weather is a ground game. And, boy, we have shown it.
Yeah, Coach, and for the Mariners with that line, they can move the ball, but they don't hit the line of scrimmage fast. It's always belly, a little bit of counter. And with that push from Robinson and the inside backers, no one's been able to do that. Fair catch called for and made at the 34-yard line. Zach Brown has watched some film. As you know, if you don't fair catch that, you're going to have Blakely or Broom deliver a shot to you, and he fair catches it, and they're going to start in decent field position. We have our sideline reporter on the field, Terry Love, who fills in when you're not here. He's down by the Vineland entrance.
I saw Terry the other morning. He was getting some breakfast.
Well, Terry and I worked together for 6 years in Bridgeton, and then he just transferred out to CC, or should I call it Scarpa Tech. So he's not with me now, but we talk often. One of Vineland's bigger fans. Tight formation here as they try to pound the middle. Not much there for that time. It's Christian oh boy, 8 Hortua. Christian A with the carry. I should have gave you that one, Coach. There you go. 2nd and 6. Belly in the middle. Nothing there. And I am a little, well, the linebackers are up there filling also, and Delgado flies from the outside. But you guys, when I played, used to keep track of tackles, and I used to get mad because playing nose guard like Robinson does. If you do your job right, people just abandon those A-gaps. And the game he had last week with 2 sacks was incredible. But sometimes you're doing an outstanding job and not getting tackles because they can't even attempt to run it in there. And that's been the case for the inside. Blackwell, Robinson, and Kent in there now. This one's floated, tipped, and incomplete. Broom goes up high and knocks it down. Almost goes to Kent, but it falls incomplete, and time to punt again for the Mariners. The clock is stopped with 2:59 to go in the first quarter.
That's 4 possessions for Tom's River and 4 outs.
Well, if Vineland's able to get another score this quarter, this will be more points in the first quarter than they've had all year in any game. It's a high snap, but it's fielded and shanked off the side of his foot. Vineland's going to start at the Mariners' 32-yard line. The high snap put the pressure on the kicker as Aaron Craig tries to get his foot to it. Oh, now they're moving it up to the 40. I had the wrong official marking a spot. So at the 40, but still great field position for Vineland with 2:51 in the first quarter to go. The coaches and Tyreen Powell have seemed confident in there.
Yeah, he's handled himself very well, Rich.
You know, that wide receiver, we talk about his speed, and he has some speed, but being that long, sometimes it doesn't really show up, but you can see as he gains ground. There's a give in the middle, nothing there for Broom. He's going to lose a couple. Once again, Tom Monica, the defensive tackle, the senior at 5'11", 250, number 50. He's doing a nice job on the inside. He does have support of his linebackers, but he's really holding his ground well. Like to see a little less of a push and a little more of a seal. You want to try to turn those hips. Boy, and a score here would really crush the morale. To throw. Big pressure. Powell runs away from it. Looking for somebody. He's going to take it himself and delivers a shot and goes forward. Picks up about 4 on the play. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 7. That's nice to see Powell put his shoulder down and drive forward.
I tell you, he showed a lot of speed getting outside of that rush.
Well, you know, when I think it was Temple that offered him a scholarship already, but the coaches talk about his speed and that receiver. Sometimes it's tough to see it. You can certainly see it there as he runs away from the defense. Low snap. Powell digs it up. It's tipped, but then complete to Reyes. And that may be the first time 2 people have tackled Reyes without him getting away, as Reyes is a house when he has the ball. The senior 4-year starter captain. Reyes started the year a little slow, had pins put in his thumb, played with a cast, didn't do a ton of tight end early, struggled wrapping and tackling as I talked to him. But he's just defensively has just been incredible. And offensively, when he gets to football, he doesn't go down that easy. Jumping off sides go the Mariners. Coach Oz is not happy on the far sideline as this first quarter has been all Vineland with 113. Vineland deep on a drive again. Coach, a wise man, earlier this year said this is the team that's going to win the first playoff game. And they're up against adversity with their leading rusher and leading passer out. And Powell said, I can fill in and handle this for you. Here goes Nazir Broom over the far side. Great support by the defense. Going to make it 2nd. Maybe he got back to the line. Maybe lost a little bit. We'll still call it 2nd and 5.
That's the one on the play. For the 2nd and 6.
Broom out. Freshman Anthony Arthur in at running back. It's a fake to Arthur. Powell takes it up the middle, and boy, he's tough to bring down as he falls forward with that 6'4" frame. Gets Vineland just inside the 20. It's going to make it 3rd and 3.
Well, we've been in this position 3 times and made it all 3. Powell threw once, he ran. And I think the other one was to Reyes.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's going to do it for the first quarter as it runs down. An outstanding, listen to those claps here, Coach. That's me. What a great start of a football game for Vineland High School at home in the playoffs. And when we talked about the playoffs, in the new playoff rankings, they have something called the Born Power Index, which I'm fairly familiar with from evaluating college football, we'll say. And it kind of gives you a point spread on what people believe the game should be. And Vineland's Born Power Index is very high with the people they've played, and it takes into account how closely you played them. Now, Vineland, as you talk about fourth quarter games, being in one-possession games with the top 3 teams in Group 5 South, and marching in, almost taking the lead, tying the games late, they're right there. They haven't been able to finish. And coming into this, we worry about the offense. But the one thing Vineland has, as Coach mentioned pregame, is the defense. The defense has been hung out to dry early in the year with turnovers. They've been on the field a ton, but it is a very good group. The way Coach Russo and Coach Defensive Coordinator Cliff Smith have just a 3-down lineman. It's almost like a 3 versus 5 up front, and it frees up these super fast backers. Blakely, Kent, Delgado, they're all free to move around. But now back to offense for Vineland on this big 3rd down. And there's a procedure, it looks like, on Vineland as that one hits the turf. And it will be on Vineland.
Rich, I agree with you about the playoffs except for one thing. Putting a point spread in the games.
Well, no.
I never believed in that.
No. They're not putting point spreads in. It evaluates them and gives them a number so you can compare the teams. It's not like they put a point spread in, but they're saying Vineland is an 81. Toms River North is a 77, I think they were. So it's kind of giving you a gauge overall on the teams. It's not like we put a point spread out there for them, but it tells you what kind of game you can expect. So Powell stands all alone. And it's on the ground. Powell dives on it. So this drive's going to get stopped at the 35.
The ball is going to be spotted at 35.
So it'll be 4th and long. 4th and 17. Let's see if Vineland's going to try to pin them back.
See, if I were Danny now, I would go for it. The way his defense is played.
I was waiting for you to say those words exactly.
Yeah.
The way the defense is played. Let's see if Snell can get it out of bounds inside the 10. Great snap. Snell boots it high, deep, and in the end zone. So they'll take over at the 20. So Vineland will net 15 on the punt.
Ball is back 20, first and 10 for Toms River.
Three and out. I call it a 3 and out when you're punting and the ball goes over your head. You're giving us the ball anyway. 21 Snell there. Just real. In the beginning of the year, you weren't sure what you're going to get out of your punting game, as Isaiah Pacheco had been the punter for so long. Snell also very tough on the wrestling mats, as that'll be coming up for him shortly. Little give on the inside, and they're going to have to abandon that if we get another score, Coach. And
yeah. Well, their passing game has not been good. There have been drop balls.
And as you mentioned, the passes have been on the money.
Yeah.
Even when he took that big hit, the receiver had it in his hands. But between the defense closing and the defense or the offensive receivers hearing some footsteps, they've not been able to hold on. Now back to throw, looking deep to the side, has a step, but it's overthrown as Gregory stride for stride.
Boy, they're not afraid to let it loose, are they?
No, and that, as you can see heading back, that was a one-receiver pattern as they kept everybody in the block. Got their one-on-one with Gregory. And Gregory, the 5'10", 175-pound junior who started in the defensive backfield after injuries. We haven't mentioned Truss Cooper, first game for us this year, has an interception, has 9 tackles. He's been out since the first game. That kind of started to make a rotation where they're trying to figure out who's coming in. J.P. Garcia injury, amongst others, got Gregory in there, and he's really held down his spot well. Vineland not afraid to leave him alone in man coverage with some speed out there. Slant in the middle, but pressure. Floated, incomplete. Great pressure by the Vineland defense. And just nothing happened for the Mariners between the coverage and that pressure just with the 3 guys up front.
Well, he was trying to set a screen up there, but the pressure was so great he really couldn't get it off.
See, they fooled me on that screen, Coach. I finally just thought we had amazing pressure. Nice job, Coach. So back to kick it with just over 10 minutes in the first half. It's a high floating snap. And that one's shanked out of bounds. That's not going to make it to the 40. You know, and on film they do that. They take a couple steps and do that like
holy mackerel.
Australian football kicking thing, but it's not worked well at all. As Vineland's going to get the ball back better than where they punted it from.
Unbelievable.
I think Vineland punted from the 35, and after a 3 and out on the punt, they get it at the 30, so they gained 5 yards. And you can't sleep on the Mariners as they had a big comeback last week, scoring 21 unanswered points against Southern Regional. There's the give on a sweep to the top. Hit initially and dropped down, but it's going to be a gain of 5. As Tony gets a rare carry. Coming into today, the sophomore Tony with 5 carries for 6 yards, but he's been, I think they call it the A-back. Tony has 28 receptions to lead the team for just 295 yards. And he had over 100 receiving against Rancocas Valley, and he's the guy that comes out of that backfield, and you can give him a little short pass, and he has the wheels to do something. This time there's an opening for Nazir Broom, who's hit and drags forward. Looks like he's going to have a first down for Vineland inside the 20 with 9:38 to go. Broom had that big run versus Rancocas. He had a couple. He had one down inside the 5 and took another one.
Well, he had a big run today, too, to bring that ball down there.
Boy, the speed he showed there. Powell keeps it himself. He ducks inside the first attempted tackle with a little hand sweep, but not much there on that one. So he dives forward for maybe a yard or 2.
Pick up a 1 on the play.
There's a little bit of a hush over the crowd as Vineland with the ball. It's been a little while since they've scored in great field position. If they can get another one here. Broom picks up a nice block from Bachma, and now into the end zone for the touchdown. Boy, Bachma, that guard, makes a big block to open it up as the senior Bachma pulls and opens up the hole for Broom, who has had the hot hand rushing the ball these past few games. As the junior Broom converts from how many yards out, Coach?
20.
Outstanding job by Broom, but as a former offensive lineman, when you see a kick-out block like that by your senior captain. Garton for the extra point. This snap is handled. The kick is up and good. So with 8:53 to go, it's 20-0 Fighting Clan.
In the second quarter, the Fighting Clan now leads 20-0.
Boy, what a job by that defense, Coach. I can't wait to find our buddy Tom McGurk, not just to get our numbers, but to see. I don't know if they've netted positive yards in this first half so far. I know between the snap that they lost 20 on, 3 drives they lost yards on. There was one that was a 4th and 5, and a 4th and 8. That Vineland defense may be holding the Mariners to negative yards so far on about 5 possessions.
Rich, they don't have a first down.
That's nice.
That what?
Hey, Coach, yeah, it wasn't too long ago as Coach Russo took over, as this started to build, that for years before we talk about, well, we got that consolation game. They're going to match us up with somebody. We can get a win there. But, with everything Vineland lost last year and being so competitive, for those of you that don't follow it as closely or all the time, this team is inches away from having 4 more wins.
Yep.
Including a dominant performance at St. Joe's that fell apart in the middle of the 4th quarter. Number 1 team in South Jersey, Williamstown. We're kicking a field goal to tie it with 6 minutes left. But they've got it all together tonight. Aparicio kicks, fair catch called for and made. So as we always say after as I mentioned, Robert Aparicio kicks that high floater to about the 35 or the 30, which is what he's told to do. There's times where he's able to put his foot to it. He has a touchback also, but does a really nice job not allowing a return, giving the Vineland defense some room behind them to work with. Kazankowski probably got to get thrown, and he tries a quick pass out. Powell comes up, makes the tackle, but a gain of 5 on the play to Deshaun Wilder.
That's the best looking play they run all night.
Looks like they're going to try to hurry up a little bit here, too. What a tight formation by that offense, as there's no cracks. And they go belly on the inside, and that goes nowhere as Reyes makes the tackle for a loss, and it's cleaned up by 33 Blackwell. Well, the rain has not stopped, but it's really slowed to a light drizzle now. 8 minutes, another 3rd down, this one 3rd and 6. Kazankowski floats it out again to Wilder. Wilder under pressure. Can he outrun the defense? No, he cannot. As Tall Kennedy uses his speed to make the stop, and it's going to be short of a first down. It's going to be 4th and 2 from their own 44. And after a little thinking, it looks like Coach Oz for the Mariners is sending in the punt team. You hear the crowd. Watch the ball. Don't want to give that easy first down. Wilder looked like he had an edge to try to get to the outside, and Vineland's Tall Kennedy certainly has the speed to stop that and makes a really nice open field tackle. Now Gregory in man coverage up top. They try to draw Vineland off. It's a high snap, and it's kicked. It's going to split the Vineland return guys and roll down right to about the 6. So Coach Oz and the Mariners do punt it back to Vineland. They give them a long field to work with, but yet again that defense stops them as they still look for their first down. The 6 and 2 Mariners travel to the deep South Jersey, where the 3 and 5 Fighting Clan have given them everything they can handle. And the 3 and 5 Fighting Clan, their 5 losses are there. Every team was ranked in the top 10 in South Jersey when they played them. Few number 1s during that time. So Powell with his heels on the end zone gives over the middle. There's a seam and an opening through the middle. Makes a nifty cut. Broom running deep to the 45-50. To the 40 before he's finally brought down as Vineland gets out of trouble with some nice blocking up front and some great speed and vision by Broom.
Again, off what side, Rich?
On that left, huh?
On that left. He has been super productive running that ball off that left side.
And on that left side is sophomore, 6'3", 250, number 77, Dutra. Tight end Reyes hanging out over there also. Eckert and Bachma, your guards. You know, that was going to be a problem, the blocking with this big front, but they're doing a nice job of it there. Now here's the freshman Arthur. He squares his shoulder and picks up 5. Nice hard run by Arthur.
Buckeyes number 1, Anthony Arthur. Brings ball across the 30.
Well, the question coming in was the offensive line. Besides having the new quarterback was, are we going to be able to run the ball in these conditions? And
Did he move Bachma back to center? I think so. What's Bachman's number? 70?
You always put your best lineman in number 70, Coach. 2nd and 6. Arthur again.
Because he experimented with Bachman moving the guard, right?
Yeah, I think that was the plan coming in. I'm going to see if we can get a shot down on the middle of that line because I've got Bachma standing there along with Medina is in. Now a new lineman checks in. Josh Bennett, the sophomore, 6'2", 240, checks in. This one taking a little bit of time. I think Coach is going to end up taking a timeout. So he talks to the official. They'll wait for that back judge. There's a nice shot of that line for us.
Yeah, Bachman's over the ball, isn't he?
Well, Medina and Bachma is 72 and 70 up in the middle there.
Time out in the field by Vineland. How about a nice round of applause for those
It's tough to see those numbers with the dark uniform.
And you know what else makes it tough, Coach, is Brandon Anderson, 74. And Eckert, what else makes it really tough is the older I get, I just started wearing glasses 3 years ago. I think I'm going to be blind in the next 3 years, but the eye doctor tells me it's normal and I'm okay when I think I go in blind. So we have 5:08 to go, 20-0 Vineland. Vineland with the football with a 3rd and 4.
Vineland High School football.
Ball on the 28-yard line. Rain picks up a little bit. We'll call it a light rain, a little more than a mist. And how about it for our fans tonight in the home crowd? It's not sold out, but let me tell you, there's a lot of people dealing with some adverse weather out here. It's always nice to see the people ringing the end zones also. All right, here we go, 3rd and 5. Pressure in the middle. Powell tries to get to the high side, skips, jumps through, he's on his feet to the 10, 5, touchdown, takes a late nudge in the end zone. And Powell just takes it through the gut as this has been all Vineland. As Vineland goes up 26-0 with 4:59.
27-yard run, Rich.
Tyreen Powell, number 22, the converted wide receiver to quarterback. And I think this is the most I've got to enjoy Tyreem's speed. Now, Tyreem, through baseball, I've coached since he was 7 years old, on and off. Just an outstanding young man. I'm so glad he's seizing this opportunity. And that one's going to be blocked. The ball, Turner gets it. It falls through his hands on the snap. So no chance to put your foot to that. But so Vineland's going to hold that 26-0 lead. And you know what, Coach? It's for anybody starting in a playoff game, there's jitters. But your first start at quarterback, and to have the success and lead the team. And at one point in time, I did not have Tyreem on my team, and I had Shelton on my team. And they've been best friends since they're little. I had to do a whole bunch of finagling and trading to keep those guys together. They are best of friends. There's a nice group of about 6 guys. So I'm sure Ryan Shelton, as much as he'd like to be out there, he's glad it's his buddy Tyreen Powell stepping in and covering up for him as he deals with his injury.
He don't seem to be any trouble with jitters, or he's calm as can be out there. Of course, what was nice, they had 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, and they tried to keep secrets, but I was going to text you early. I don't want to let Coach know stuff got out, but I had known by the following Monday. I had 2 weeks I've known this was coming and had to keep it under my hat. But not only does it give you a great opportunity to win a game here, a fair call again. I thought he may try to take that one. So at the 34, the Mariners will start. And the whole team seems to have rallied behind this move, as we've seen better blocking today than we have at times during the season. Saw an outstanding catch by Reyes, picking it off the turf at the 2-yard line. So Vineland needs to finish out this half just under 5 minutes. Quick hitter and down to the ground. See if you can check out that battle up on the line. The right tackle for the Mariners, Najee Hallenbach, 6'7", 300. He's got 55 Malloy in front of him, and now they're going to switch it, and Reyes is there. Kind of like our matchup with Reyes on him. Floated, complete, hit, and dropped. Welcome back again, DeAndre Tall Kennedy. As that swing pass maybe loses a yard, as Wilder's hit hard immediately.
Yeah.
Number 2, Tall Kennedy, has an interception this year and 6 tackles, and that was in 1 game. Outstanding kick returners. He returned 2 last year for touchdowns. He had to sit last year transferring back home, but now he's finally back on the field and healthy, and that really helps Vineland's defense. Quarterback has nowhere to go. Tries to get to the outside. Vineland player tackled, and that's going to be a holding call as Lathan Kent gets good pressure in the middle from his linebacker spot and draws the hold. So it's either going to be 4th and 5, or Vineland can take the penalty and make it 3rd and about 14. Vineland's going to decline it, and let's see what Coach Oz is going to do, and it looks like he's sending in his punt team. That's a weird place to take or not take the penalty. I mean, you certainly wouldn't go for it in a normal game, but you're down 26 points, and you've got 5 to go to keep it, so you got to watch for something tricky here. Sergio Borda back to kick. It was Craig back there earlier, now to Borda, who had the first one go through his hands. And that's a high snap, but he has it. Good containment. Floats a nice one. And looking for somewhere to go, straight up through the middle. Otis Harold to the outside, and he's whipped down finally right about the 29-yard line, as Harold, who's had a great second half of the season, really came on after a start that was a little slow and has made some really big catches for Vineland. He takes that punt.
Boy, I wish we could see that play again, Rich.
Well, Harold,
I was sure the kicker went over the line.
Well, he certainly gained a ton of ground to it. Harold coming into today, 8 catches, but for 144 yards. He's at 18 yards of reception, and boy, he's had some big catches this year for Vineland. So the offense with the ball, 3:22 to go. Nazir Broom with some big runs last time, finished off by Powell. And there's Broom. Stays on his feet. He's hit. The ball comes out, but he's down. Gain of about 3.
Rich, the clock's winding down. When the snap, it'll be under 3 minutes.
So it is Medina, 72 at center. Eckert at left guard. Bachma at right guard. Anderson at right tackle. Dutra at left tackle. Powell's going to throw it. Straight arms to rush. Looking for somewhere to go. Straight arms another fella and picks up about 4 yards. Going to make it 3rd and short, 3rd and about. Wait, they may be signaling first. I think he's a little short. And it is a first down. Powell picks it up with that second straight arm just over the line to gain. First down and out of bounds. 2:40 to go in the first quarter. All Vineland 26-0. as far as we have it, the Mariners do not have a first down, as this has been a nightmare first half for them. Powell's ready. A little bit of a juggle on the handoff, slows that down. Broom gets to the edge and dives forward, but he steps out after a modest gain, trying to stay in bounds. 2:32.
Yeah, I would expect Tom's River to just let the clock run out. It's been a disastrous half for them.
In my best hopes for this game, I could not have envisioned this kind of start. The offense isn't high-tuned. See, well, there's a late flag there. You know what happens, Coach? They're pressing that line of scrimmage with their backers and everybody, and they're making tackles for a yard or a yard gain, a yard loss. But once they get through that first line, Vineland has the speed to beat the defensive backs that are back there. And this was a game of speed versus size. But I also like the speed that the Mariners have in their skill positions, but they've not been able to really stop our rushing attack when we get past the linebackers. And you see, conversely for Vineland, a pass or a throw, people are getting hit a second after the ball's there. Vineland really breaks to the football much better. Very disciplined Mariner team. You watch their ends, they'll box and stand in there like it's 1980 again and not close down. And that's given the running seams to Vineland. So 2:13 in running. Powell to throw. It's a quarterback draw. He's hit initially, makes his way through. He's going to get the yardage back from the penalty, and it's going to make it 3rd and about 9. 3rd and 9, clock running just under 2 minutes. Arthur checks out, Broom in along with Tony. Conrad Jackson, number 81, another target you may want to watch on this one. As I mentioned earlier, with Conrad Jackson, he's averaging 20.3 yards a catch. Reyes averaging 21. Harold averaging 18, so they can stretch the field. Boy, they're really overreacting to that jet motion as they shift their line down on a stunt. Their linebackers all rotate. Looks like Vineland, if they need it in the second half, can go backside off that jet motion with Powell on a keep.
Well, that's what makes that run to the left. Once
Yeah.
they see that jet motion coming, they're outmanned on that side.
And they're certainly out quick as their defensive ends. At the one side, it's John O'Donnell, 6'3", 225, sophomore. Nice-sized kid, but not the fleetest of foot out there. Powell's going to follow. Looks for an opening. He's hit early, drives forward, shows some hard running. It's going to make it 4th and about 8 with a minute to go, as Snell will be out to kick it. Yeah, the penalty doomed that drive there, Coach.
Yeah.
Football, wrestling, baseball, whatever the sport, that short conference, they're a nightmare. Sometimes you evaluate them one way and you go up there and you're like, oh my goodness. It's nice to see them come down here to an old Cape team and have that happen to them tonight. So Snell just needs to put his foot on this one. I think they're going to let it run down and call timeout, because Coach can't save him for the next half. As the back official counts, there's 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and Coach takes the timeout, milking the clock down to 7.6 seconds. We'll see if Coach wants to have Snell just kick it out of bounds and give them one play, or if he's going to allow them to try to make a return. They do have speed back there. Shane Sahad
Why don't you go out and vote?
back to
Rowdy
return.
Rooster as the #1 mascot in South Jersey. You have a chance to vote for Rowdy Rooster.
I didn't see this coming.
No.
On NewJersey.com. So let's get out there and vote for our own mascot.
And congratulations for a first half well played as Vineland players and coaches had this team very well prepared. They're halfway through it, and they have a little room for error, inserting the new quarterback, second game with the new center in. And the defense has just played its best game of the season. Now we just got to finish off these 7.6 seconds. Schnell puts his foot to it. Zachary Goodale now back. Schnell has it bobbled. He's hit and dropped. So 2 seconds to go. Nothing Schnell could do with that one. So Vineland's defense will have to defend one play with 2 seconds left. What do you think? Maybe 2 plays? Think they try to draw them off to make it a little closer, Coach?
Nah.
Their swing passes don't seem like they're going to get them there. As Coach mentioned, the pressure is taking away a screen pass, so you got to be thinking slant. I'd hold my linebackers back, pull them back to about the 15 to take that slant away. Quarterback back, under pressure, floats it high and deep, hits a receiver in the head, but he's not able to hold on to it as he got turned around. Zachary Brown. Zeros on the clock. An outstanding first half of football here at Gittone Stadium. Coach, I'm going to enjoy this one more than I've enjoyed anything. Let's get through this first half.
Well, let's start with Toms River. 8 possessions. 8 possessions in that half. And not a positive thing to show for it. No first downs. I can't remember a couple of short passes they hit. The runs, no good. Vineland, on the other hand, got a big break at the 11:06 mark of the first quarter when the punter dropped as he was punting. Vineland got the ball on the 4-yard line, and Powell went in. So 11:06, Vineland went up 6-0. Kick was good. At the 4:20 mark, Powell had another 4-yard run. Went in and scored. They scored 13-0. The kick was no good. We went into the second quarter for Vineland. Broom on a 20-yard run at the 8:53 mark. Put the score at 20-0 when the kick was good. At the 3:26 mark, Powell went in to score to make it 26-0, and the kick was blocked. We're at the end of the first half. Vineland 26, Toms River nothing.
Well, before we take our halftime break, thanks again to our wet crew, Kayla Spire, Tanner Bushman, Jordan Skarzinski, crew chiefs Brian Anthony and Ryan Steinbrown, and executive producer of VPS TV is Gia Basori, the school district's public information officer. We're going to thank our sponsors, and we'll be back for a second half.
The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of Vineland High School football team this season. Sir Speedy, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Newfield National Bank, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Caters, Allen Associates, Delsey ShopRite, Bella Limousine, Medio Law Firm, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Technid Consulting, Vineland Education Association, Begal University, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria and Restaurant, MVP Sports Bar, Richling Carpet and Flooring, GNS Dry Cleaners, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Bondi Insurance Agency, Dr. Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, Baruffi Brothers, Beretta Plumbing, Heating and Cooling,
Luciano Medical, Van Dodge, and Homestead Plumbing and Heating.
The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
Welcome back to Gittone Stadium in the playoff game between Toms River North and the Vineland Fighting Clan. In a dominating first half, Vineland is up 26-0. And Rich, this is a great time to break the streak. Vineland has never won a playoff game, and boy, that would really feel good to knock off Toms River North. I'm 0-5. I think Danny was 0-3. I'm not sure about
0-2.
that. 0-2.
This is our third now.
So, boy, that'd be great to break that streak.
Well, let me tell you about some numbers for the first half. You know, it seemed to mix it up better than we did, but that rushing attack has just taken over. It's Tyreen Powell, 11 carries for 80 yards. Nazir Broom, 12 carries for 125. Tony has 1 for 5. Arthur has 3 for 6 yards. Snell getting that 1 for -14 on the attempted punt with the snap and the bobble. Powell, 2 for 3 passing for 21 yards. Reyes has those 2 catches for the 21 yards. And that's thanks to Tom McGurk, who covers the Vineland Fighting Clan. And I sent him a secret message saying, I think we've held Toms River North to negative yards. And he replied, yes, we did. Yes, they did. He can't say we like we can. But yes, Vineland's defense held Toms River to -5 yards in the first half. So an outstanding job by that defense. It led by everybody. I mean, anytime they threw the ball, people were getting hit. But an outstanding game calling the offense for Coach Volpe, and defensively Coach Cliff Smith, the coordinator there. And all that happens because of Coach Russo, who's the boss of everything out there. Just an outstanding job, not only with the execution, but this is a Vineland team that's ready to play, and I don't think they're done yet.
No, and Powell came in after Sheldon got hurt. They had 2 weeks to prepare him, and it looks like he belonged there the whole time. He has never flinched. He's thrown the ball well. He's run the ball well. So they haven't missed a beat with him at quarterback. It would be nice to have Sheldon, but we'll see. You know, Powell doesn't look like he has the jitters. He's not nervous. And that's a great sign.
Yeah, and another final around, the number 3 seed in Group 5 South, Lenape, held on. Some of these games got a little early start because of the impending weather. Lenape 3, Kingsway nothing. So Lenape advances. We're still waiting on a township score, as it's Washington Township and Winslow, that if Vineland holds on to a win, they'll get the winner of that one.
We will? I thought we were going to play the number 1 seed. If all the seeds win.
Yeah, Winslow's number 1, and they're playing Washington Township. So
No. Williamstown's number 1.
Oh, who am I saying? Winslow?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you scared me.
I did that before when we were talking. My bad. I'm sorry. Williamstown. I was looking at a Winslow score at halftime as they're up on Millville, I think by 4 points at the half, and we were talking about that. I got my W's confused. Good catch, Coach. But, yes, Williamstown and Washington Township, the winner of that if Vineland holds on. Vineland in a good position to hold on as they're going to be getting the football first. And what do you tell your guys up front? Watch for an onside kick, and Coach is ready as we have number 7, 33, 22, all the skill position guys up there waiting to make sure he kicks it deep, and he squibs it up the middle, taken at the 9-yard line. And there's Broom, breaks a tackle, he has a block, he needs one more. And he breaks 3 of that one. Now he's got to turn on the Jets to the 10. 5, touchdown Fighting Clan, 15 seconds into the second half. Nazir Broom returns the squib kick that he fielded at around the 8-yard line for a touchdown. Picked up some key blocks, broke through an arm tackle as they had him by the back of the shirt. And talk about all-purpose yards. He came into the half with 125, and he just added 91 on that run. 32-0 Vineland. Outstanding game by 34 Broom. Now, if he was in the NFL, they'd give him a little oxygen now because he's got to cover some people in a couple minutes. Talk about breakout performances these last few weeks for Broom. Always a stud on defense, one of the leading tacklers when he was playing linebacker. High snap, it's down. Garton gets his foot under it and floats it through, but I think a whistle may have stopped the play as procedure on Vineland, so they'll move them back.
Yeah, something was wrong. The refs never reacted.
I was watching after it went through, and the guys underneath the goalpost didn't
They
do
never
much of
reacted.
anything. Yeah. So now Garton will try to do it. This time it'll be the equivalent of a 25-yard field goal. That last one a little delayed getting through. He just put his toe underneath it to make sure it cleared the rush. He drives this one through and good. 33-0 Vineland. As Henry Garton shuffles to the sideline. It's Broom that carried the team back in it last week, and he's put his mark on this game.
Oh, absolutely. He showed a little speed there, too.
Yeah, it's
You know,
on that other one that he got down like to the 2 again. Like it looks like they have an angle on him, but as Coach mentioned the pregame on a, if you have SoundCloud, there's the Dan Russo show each week, a podcast about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on which week some of the old players come back. But as he was talking about this one, it was size and strength versus speed, and we've shown the speed edge. And up front, that offensive line and the defensive line has really handled the size of the Mariners. Talk about building some confidence after losing your leading passer and rusher to have a complete team effort as has been happening so far today. The ball blows off the tee. The wind has picked up a little bit. It's kind of blowing towards Landis School to the visitors' bleachers. As Robert Aparicio kicks it high, and it's going to be returned. Blakely comes up, hits him from the side. Nowhere to go on that return.
No.
Looked like Blakely chipped him in, but it's Turner getting up from the bottom of that, and Malloy. So the Vineland defense has a shutout going.
They got a no-hitter.
Yeah, perfect game. You call it with -5 yards. There's a give. Not much there. Well, Toms River North, after a berth in the state South Jersey Group 5 championship game 2 years ago in a battle with Millville. They lost in the finals. Didn't make it last year, and this year seemed to have their ship going in the right direction. There's a swing pass and a little bit of room, but that's going to go incomplete. As Blakely over there to make a tackle, had it been complete, and got to walk out of the booth at halftime. And
You start to wonder, Rich, at this time. They're 6-2. Who'd they play?
yeah, and
I mean, I don't know much about that conference with Toms River North, South. I mean, they all are around that area.
Rain's coming down a little harder now,
Brick.
too. Hal, Brick, Southern. Going to pass. He's hit as he stopped when they make it second and about 12.
One of the few times they've stopped that play on that left side. It's a good angle run. There must be some down blocking. I'm going to try to watch because we have no tight end over there. All the power's to the right.
Well, for Vineland, the first big penalty that pushed them back is they're going to want to just try to grind this ball up the field as it's been run so far. wet football, horrible conditions. Certainly don't want to float a pass that gets picked on the flat, so you're going to be heading up the field if you do throw it. Gingerly making his way to the line for no gain. Maybe a loss of one on that's going to be 3rd and long. We're at 9:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. This is one of those games you're going to want to watch again, and you can always do that Saturday and Sunday at 6, Monday at 7 on Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Fios Channel 41, and anytime on YouTube at BPS Broadcasting. So, could be the passing time here as the rain is coming down hard. Heavy pressure from the top. Powell sits in the pocket. Looks like he's going to overshoot Jackson. Good coverage on the play that time by Bryce Pruitt, who kind of took Jackson's pattern away and made that slant go a little shorter than he wanted as it falls incomplete. So Snell out the kick.
Actually, the defensive player was closer to the ball than the receiver.
No, at 33-0, Coach, maybe you call some different plays also. Like I would, of course, like to have seen Reyes get it in his hands, break a couple tackles, get your first down. But by the same token, let's mix it up a little bit. Try to keep the clock moving and keep people healthy.
Somebody called timeout, Rich, and I'm not sure who. The ref never gave the signal.
I believe it was Coach Russo just because he was the first one out on the field. Just really need to get your foot on it. He's got the catch, and he gets away a nice line drive kick that almost goes over the head of the return man, but he has it, makes a move, and sets Toms River North up at the 25-yard line as Zach Goodale, as you get a nice shot there of what our crew and these players are going through in that downpour out there now.
This is the best field position Toms River's had. We have a Vineland player now, Rich. I can't see the number.
It's cold down there now. We have driving rain. Another scores around his most
First lull we've had in the game, Rich.
Yeah. Drive, we didn't march around a little bit, and we are approaching that one more score to get everybody out of this rain in a hurry.
I don't know if it's a cramp. They're working on his leg. I hope that's what it is.
Certainly looks like it as they're bending that toe back, and some big boys on the Toms River North side. But it's been the strength. You know, we talk about size. There's a nice shot of just how big that offensive and defensive line they are for Toms River North. But it's been the speed of Vineland, but also the strength. And that's something Coach and I talked about when we came up. There's some really big guys, but they're not like us, the Vineland guys that may be 40 pounds lighter, but there's a lot more density, muscle mass, mature strength when you have, like we used to have when you coached, just some big, strong farm boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what they have out there. And the foot speed up front has just not been able to hang in with Vineland. And what a compliment for Vineland. You know, that weight room that is probably one of the nicest in the state that is used tremendously well. Cliff Smith runs the strength conditioning, and they also do agilities. They're in there all the time, and it pays off, and they're wearing down this team. But now it's the best shot they have so far for Toms River North to try to get on the scoreboard here. Jake Kanazowski gives a dive up the middle, and there's an opening this time. Nice gain on the play before Tall Kennedy makes the stop. And there's the first down of the day for Toms River, but that first down puts them right at the 18-yard line. The first time they got that rush through there. This is where you got to settle in. Don't do too much. Do your job. Tight bunch formation. They give up the middle again, now to the outside. And what a beautiful play that time by Broom. As Broom comes up the field, contains the outside, and is able to use his speed and athleticism to make a stop after a short gain, as that one looked like it could have went in the end zone for a score. As Vineland showing they have the speed to match up.
Nice play.
Vineland player coming off as Blakely has a little bit of a limp to him. Trainer Dave takes him off. We get a replacement in
See what
there.
happens? You get good field position. Toms River's got a little bounce to their step.
And here comes Jackson to give us the 11. Yeah, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the first step for them is getting on the scoreboard. They did come back and score the last 21 points last week. There's a ball on the ground, and he's just going to have to jump on it as Kanazowski. So that's going to make it about 13 yards for a first down.
Well, you know they got two cracks, but they're not going to give the ball up.
Well, a couple receivers go out and a couple new receivers come in. Zach Brown, 88. They almost had him in the end zone in that last play of the first half. He's number 88 at the bottom. Let's see if they look for him again. Kanakowski set. He rolls to the top. Pressure. Floats it. And what great defense. Getting a hand in there and knocking it away. Outstanding job. That's Tall Kennedy again. He's been all over the field defensively, and that shows you a little bit of what Vineland had been missing without him in there.
Rich, Toms River quarterback, sophomore, is showing his inexperience in this way. He's late with every delivery. He was late with that delivery.
And it looks like he's locked in on who he's going to also. Not seen him look anybody off. There's one deep in the end zone, tipped again. Great job that time. Barry Turner gets his hand on it and deflects it down. So Vineland's defense holds. The Mariners are out of the end zone. Vineland with the ball back. It's going to be right at their own 15-yard line with 6:44 to go in the third quarter. So for everybody out there that's, how is Vineland a 4 seed at 3 and 5? Well, tells you that the way they rank these teams and get them in the playoffs, you know, really tells you something. As Toms River as the 5 seed comes in at 6 and 2, and I think they had that figured out pretty good. Another dive in the middle. Nice opening. Nifty block by Bachma that time as he let the defender get up the field a little bit and just weak-legged him to turn him out of the hole. That's the experience of the 4-year senior starter.
2nd and 3.
For 4 years, Bachma's been the center up to these last 2 games where he moved to right guard.
He is adjusted to that guard position very well.
He's right alongside 74 Brandon Anderson, with Medina at center, Eckert at the other side, along with the sophomore Dutra. And now they pull when the ball's loose. Powell falls on it, so it's going to be 3rd and about 11.
Yeah.
That's twice the ball's hit the ground in this horrible weather, and both times Powell does the smart thing and just jumps on top of it. You certainly don't want to do too much in this situation. Arthur in at running back alongside Powell now. As Vineland in no hurry to send the play in, just want to make sure they don't get a delay, but they're going to try to use up a little more time. That's something we see moving into next week if Vineland can run with their tempo that they've done before. There's the give. What a neat cut to the outside with a burst of speed. Oh, and an outstanding job defensively by C.J. Nezikowski. 5'10", 235-pound junior defensive end. He showed some speed and just extended long enough to knock him out of bounds. And now we have a Mariner down on the field. The rain has lightened up a little bit now.
It was a super run. I thought he was hit at the line of scrimmage. And all of a sudden he kept his legs churning. And he broke right out of that, which is really good running.
Yeah, and it's played true to form all game with Toms River North pressing that line of scrimmage. But once you get past that one tackle, there's really no support because the linebackers are just pressing to the line. And it's been some really nice running by the Vineland backs and quarterback to be able to see a seam and know that's your hole and get to it instead of looking for a big old hole.
Who ran that ball that time? I was looking at the line.
Broom. I believe it was Broom.
Ooh, he could get 200 yards.
Boy, look at that helmet taking a beating on 72. Medina in the middle. His helmet's worse for wear. You got to do like Notre Dame and paint them each week, it looks like. Toms River, a great tradition, as we mentioned, coming into this. A well-coached team, but it's just not been their night. 17 playoff appearances, 6 championships. In the Group 5 final 2 years ago. And Ray Carlson, a cornerback, is heading off the field. Looks like he's having a hard time putting some weight on his leg. But Vineland gets out of that horrible field position. It was a punt that put him back there. Then they weren't able to do anything with the football and had a penalty. Stopped Toms River on their drive, and now getting into plus territory as they're approaching the 45, their own 45-yard line. Talk about building some confidence with an offense and an offensive line. It's happening tonight. High snap. Powell gives it down. Nice seam in the middle for Arthur. He's got to hold on to that rock, and he does a nice gain of about 18 yards for the freshman as he explodes through the line of scrimmage. Well, Coach, I think that size for Toms River, they've worn them down. Seems like we're running into arms and shoulders and not bodies anymore. With 4:50 to go in the third quarter, Vineland on the move now at the 36-yard line. 1st and 10. There's the give to Tony. He picks up a nice block on the outside, but he's hit viciously after a short gain. Vinny Palmieri, 5'9", 220, the spark plug, comes up and delivers a big shot on the Vineland running back, a gain of 2. Boy, what a grind for this senior class.
You know, the mercy rule, you don't. It's a tough situation. It means you're ahead pretty good. But you take playing time away from kids. I never liked it.
Yeah, I don't like it for that reason either. I could see it in a playoff game, yeah, because there's going to be another game for the team that's up by that much. Short gain there, not much there. You know what I hated as a freshman coach? You get there, and the first things the official says, I have 50 guys on my team that all have to play at least a quarter. He goes, hey, you all right with 8-minute quarters? I'm
Yeah.
like, no. I have 51 guys that have to get in a game. So 3rd and long. Let's see if Vineland dares to put it in the air again. New receiver at the bottom, number 11, not on today's roster. And it looks like North jumps off sides. So Toms River North will pick up a consolation game next week. All the teams in the state playoff losing the first week get the consolation game next week. Well, it looks like Vineland will be moving on to face the winner of Washington Township and Williamstown. I'm not going to say Winslow again.
Williamstown's got to win tonight.
Yeah, and the last time I got a scoring update, it was a 3-point game. Millville's winning 16. Another penalty, so I have time to finish this. Millville up 16-13 over that Winslow Township team in the 3rd quarter with just a couple minutes left.
In the game?
In the 3rd quarter.
Oh.
Buna wins their first playoff win in 3 years.
Buna?
Yep.
They got to be pretty heavily favored in that Group 1. You know, they play some big teams.
Yeah. And they've been up and down, up and down. It's nice to see them have some success. But 3rd down and 9, 2:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. Powell looks to throw, floats it to Reyes, and he's tackled immediately. Nice job with that stop before Reyes can right himself by Matt Splata.
Ooh. First time I saw one guy take Reyes down.
Yeah, well, the wet turf and Reyes didn't turn and square up yet as he got there right on time. So it's 4th down. Looks like Vineland's probably going to punt as people get close, and it looks like the offense is going to stay. They're at the 33-yard line. And they're talking it over. They may take a timeout as it gets down to a delay a game, or even take the delay and let Schnell kick it. And sure enough, coach is watching the back judge as we're down to 1:38 and running. And it looks like they may just take the penalty, give Schnell a little bit more room. Last time he punted from the 35, it went in the end zone. So they'll move him back, and that shouldn't hurt any. And how nice is it to have a delay a game you want? Yeah. This season we haven't had those delay games, the mismanagement, the guy running the wrong way. They've really executed great on both sides of the ball. Especially impressed with the defense as we see so much more passing. Everybody's in the right spot. Everybody's in the right coverage. And, of course, it doesn't hurt to have a free safety back there in Tyreen Powell at 6'4" with blazing speed that can close and make up for anything. So 2 back to return this kick, standing at their own 10-yard line. High snap. Schnell gets up, gets it away, and it's high and short. Takes a Vineland roll. Will it make it in the 10? And it does, and it keeps going to the 5. Schnell did an outstanding job getting rid of that under some heavy pressure. So back to their own 5. Vineland spins to field position as Vineland took over inside their 10, I believe, on that drive. Coach?
They started on their 15.
Yeah, on the 15, and to switch the field down to the 5, an outstanding drive. Love to see Snell keep his leg out after he kicks it a little longer and draw a penalty. .114 in the third. Kanzakowski gives up the middle. The line surges forward, but the back is tackled behind them. That's Reyes getting up last from the bottom of that pile. 55 seconds to go in the third.
You cheated me tonight, Rich.
How's that, Coach?
You gave me the headset that squeezed in our head.
I gave you the long one
Yeah.
for all your standing and your calisthenics you do. 2nd and 8. Quick swing pass out to Wilder, who can't catch it. And it goes incomplete. Well, running the offense, everybody's done a great job, but Powell's done an outstanding job in his first time out there. And still just as ferocious defensively, as he's the first one on a swing pass coming from his safety position to 2 yards in the opponent's backfield and being the first guy there. So he's certainly shown he's in shape and has the motor for it. Sometimes at wide receiver, it's not the super big break and sprint off the line every time. You can kind of slow down a play or two. He rolls to the top of the screen, well covered on the out. He's got a deep guy, and there's Powell again, who tips it away from the intended receiver, Aaron Craig, and does it almost effortlessly as if it's a practice.
Whoa, he covered a lot of ground.
Oh, my gosh, didn't he? Because the receiver had a few steps, and Powell kind of just looked like he just slauntered? No. What's the word? Chassaied? No. Whichever. He kind of just lightly jogged, it looked like, over there, stuck his hand up, and said, let's get the ball back. I'm going to have to come up with a word with that since you can't help me with that.
He moseyed.
Moseyed, I like it. What a smart heads-up football player, though. This whole defense has been outstanding today. Low snap, on the ground, pressure on, kicks up and short. Takes a nice hop, though. Otis Harrell gets out of the way. Vineland will take over on their 38. And that's been a problem when this game was tighter in the beginning. It was a bad snap early. It was, I think, now 3 punts that haven't gone over 20 yards. The punting game certainly has not helped.
It's been exciting, their punting game.
Well, in these conditions, wet football, wet everything, we certainly have to then tip our hat to our punter, who's handled it very well. So here's the defense looking for a shutout.
14 seconds left in the third. Oh.
Yeah, ooh.
We got away with one there.
Yeah, Arthur heard the whistle and slowed down, but the defense didn't, as Vinny Palmieri delivers a big shot, and we're going to have to bring that back.
Jonathan Toney, he went in motion, and the ref never picked it up at all.
Oh, high snap. Powell's going to have to take it himself. Picks up a block, gets to the 40, and falls down at the 37. So they get the yards back from the penalty. Make it 2nd and about 8.
That ends the third quarter, Rich.
And 1 quarter to go. Vineland about to get their first playoff win in school history. The first time they've made the playoffs 3 years in a row. So Vineland had a shutout against Atlantic City, 21-0. Gave up 7 to Washington Township in the fourth quarter. This will be Vineland's second shutout of the year if they can hold on. To get a shutout in a playoff game in a 4-5 matchup really just be a nice tip of the hat to the Vineland players, Vineland defensive coaching staff, head coach Russo, of course coordinator Clifton Smith. It's been a different Vineland defense the past, I think it's now his third year as the defensive coordinator, and it's really been a big difference when he switched to those 3 down linemen, which takes some really special players up front, especially at the tackle positions. And with Reyes and Malloy, he's able to do it this year. And before, Rivers was in there at tackle. Bachman got some time at tackle. You know, it's been some other people, but now settled into Malloy and Reyes, who have done an outstanding job. And another penalty. So if you're watching this and
We have a
saying,
new quarterback in, Rich.
saying, what's happening? Why is this happening? As Coach mentioned, there's some substitutions going on for Vineland as Turner's now in at quarterback. But also, when you're winning 33-0 as you start the fourth quarter, you tend to get a few more flags on you. That's just the nature of it. When Vineland struggled for years, when the second half hit, I know they're going to be holding penalties on a couple big 50-yard runs to get us to have a little pride left in ourselves. So here's Turner. He gives to Arthur, who's hit immediately, spun around and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage as Nedzikowski makes another big hit. There's a few guys on that Toms River team still coming up and laying the wood on some people, as this is not the way they expected their playoff run to end.
I think Coach Russo is content with just letting the clock run out.
11 minutes left now. Turner gives to Arthur again. Arthur hit immediately, drops the ball, and Toms River comes up with it off the turnover. And what a nice, unfortunate for the wet ball fumble, but nice experience as you've worked your future, one of your futures at running back, as Broom, of course, still only a junior. And you have Tony, also, he's a sophomore. But Arthur, the freshman now, is over 50 carries on the year. And getting some carries in a playoff game, goes a long way for your future. So 1st and 10. There's an open receiver.
Oh!
Trying to get away from Broom. Broom wrestles him down along with help from Turner, but a big gain, the biggest gain of the day for Toms River North, as they're going to take it inside Vineland's 30-yard line. Nice catch by Craig on that one. Back to pass, pressure on. He eludes it, floats it. It's tipped and still caught. An outstanding grab on the play, as Conrad Jackson had great coverage. Tips the football, but still goes complete to Will Marsh. Marsh 6'3", 200 pounds. Jackson at 6 foot. A nice matchup there as Jackson tips it, but an outstanding catch. 1st and 10 again. Janikowski to throw again, floats an out pattern to Wilder, who's dropped after the catch. See if they signal him inbounds, and they do. So we're at 10 minutes in running. Vineland's defense going to have to make a stand here to keep their shutout. And, of course, the rain comes down hard again.
This is more I expected from Toms River, Rich.
Well, that first drive they came out and did this. They just didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
They were getting hit. A couple were dropped. And I think this should have been their approach instead of trying to run the middle. We're when I watched, they didn't have much success, and then in this game they had zero success. Floated to the end zone, incomplete, no flags. Will Marsh, the intended receiver, as he ran up the seam.
Pretty good coverage here, Rich. He couldn't. There's no way he could catch that ball. They had 2 men in front of him.
Powell out of the Vineland defense. There's a few new shirts in there for Vineland. It's like Blakely's dropping back to safety. Boy, there's something to be said for smart football players too, Coach, when you can trust kids to make sure everything's doing the right way. You're doing the right thing. Pressure. Gets away. Floats it. Complete. Stays on his feet. Hit and dropped. It's going to be enough for the first down as the reception to Dominic Jacobs sets up a 1st and goal for the Mountaineers, for the Mariners with 9 minutes and 15 seconds left in the ball game.
No, we got a penalty, Rich.
All right. What you got, Coach? A lineman downfield?
Didn't see the signal, but he threw the flag.
They're moving them back. Ooh, there you go. That's a long way to go. Wow.
Had to be a spot foul.
But where's that spot? That ball was
At the
inside.
20.
So they're all the way back outside the 30-yard line at the 33. Pressure gets there late. It's floated incomplete at the feet of the intended receiver, Jacob. So that'll stop the clock with 9 minutes to go. 33-0 Vineland. 4th down. One more down on this drive for Vineland to hold up and preserve this shutout. And who thought we'd be talking about a shutout for Vineland's first playoff win in school history, as they jumped out on top early and they've held on. The defense made a stop earlier in close. And now they have one more play to defend. I wouldn't be surprised to see this be that one receiver going out, everybody else blocking. As big as that line is for them, they have tight splits. They're trying to close down gaps for the rush to come through, and Vineland right now just going to send their 3 down linemen versus the 6 blockers. Getting around the edges, Reyes, he gets a hand on him, but now floating out, thrown and caught, but short of the first down, where Vineland will take over around the 20-yard line. It's going to be the 19. And if we were talking about a shutout, I would think more of a
Don't jinx them.
14-0 game, not a 33.
Don't jinx them.
Jinx. Can't have a jinx.
We jinxed them talking about the mercy rule.
Yeah, we almost got that, Coach.
Don't jinx him now about this shutout. Let him finish his game off.
Shut out twice in one sentence, Coach. 8:49. It's Turner in. He looks for somewhere to run, lets the rush go by, but good pursuit by the defense. And Turner's going to lose a yard. Millville with a 50-yard run for a score, up 30-20 now in the fourth quarter. Looks like they've corrected what was happening with them. And the rain picks up. Turner takes it himself, and he runs into a big defensive tackle. Tom Monica makes the stop as the rain starts to drive. From east to west, it's almost horizontal at times. Here's your senior captain, 84, Reyes, trying to calm everybody down, trying to execute this play here to pick up a first down. Big sophomore, 77, Dutra. Really been an outstanding job at tight end. Or excuse me, at tackle when you can have
the ball.
What's that, Coach?
Oh, no.
Turner swarmed over and dropped. It'll be time to kick for Vineland. It's Roldan in there on the offensive line now.
I thought they were going to let Turner throw the ball. He was no one in the backfield with him. Ahead 33-0. We've done a lot of punting of the ball too, Rich. We've had a lot of possessions.
Yeah.
And
we've certainly won that battle, as punt game is not going good at all for Toms River North. Snell has it, gets it away just in time, out of bounds at around the 35. Well, if there's one thing to clean up a little bit, there's been a lot of pressure on Snell when he's trying to kick it.
Yep.
He had halftime, ran out and got a little air before it poured. Got to see Naheem Anderson, who was at Maryland and transferred over to Rutgers, where he's redshirting as a freshman this year. Taiwan Cosby and Wanye Kent last week, former players. I got to see them there. So let's get back to this one. 1st and 10, Vineland with that 33-0 lead, 6 minutes to go. Pressure from behind and a big hold on Reyes. And that doesn't get called as they rip Reyes' jersey. It's that battle we talked about before with Najee Hollenbach, 6'7", 300-pound tackle versus Anthony Reyes. Reyes 5'11", 220, but Reyes is giving Hallenbach all he can handle. This time just a dive up the middle. It looks like Toms River North is getting the bus ready already as it sits in the end zone.
Ah. Should I sing my song?
I've been waiting.
Turn out the lights.
3rd down and 7. Vineland closing in on their first playoff win and moving on to the semifinals. There's some pressure on. Oh, and what an outstanding catch as he extends the ball. Dominic Jacob, the 6'2", 185-pound junior. And looks like he may have stepped out of bounds. 4th and short. 3 new players check in for Toms River. There's a Pruitt right behind the quarterback. He gets it. He's hops and he's dropped, and they're not going to score on this drive. Outstanding job, J.J. Delgado with the tackle for loss to keep number 56, to keep him out of the end zone and off the scoreboard, and that gives us 4:50 to go. You know, you got 1 yard to go. You've not been able to get it through the middle. Little strange there. It's the first time we've seen almost like an I formation with the running back straight behind the quarterback, and that didn't work out too good for him. So Vineland keeps the O-line in and tight end Reyes. Just to change that quarterback. Turner's been handing off or keeping himself, keeps himself, and they blow that one dead.
I hope Pal's all right.
Yeah, he's walking around. He's fine on the side.
They took him off the defense, too.
Just an outstanding game for him. It also breathes some life back into Vineland, because instead you're thinking, well, we got a really good defense. We can do something with this defense. And instead now you're saying, hey, we still have an offense. And it's going to be a little different than it was. But as that line blocks better and Nazir Broom coming into his own week after week with big plays. That opening closes up quick, maybe to the 30-yard line, gain of 1. And not much more for Arthur. .52 rolled Dan back in there. He's started a lot of the season at guard. And Medina, in just his second start at center, has done a really good job handling a wet football all game. Shows you he wasn't just sleeping when he wasn't playing. Turner looks to get to the outside. The flag hits the field, as does Turner right at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that's a chop block on Nezikowski, because he's been a lot to handle, 33 for that defense. And it's against Vineland. Some more changes for Vineland. Tight end Eli Anderson checks in. Sophomore, 6'2", 195. So Turner been keeping it himself or handing it off. He stands back with Arthur. There's a long way to go. It's now going to be, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 24 yards. To the outside, wrestled down. Arthur stays on his feet, cuts back now, tries to bolt up through the middle, loses a couple on that, but does a good job of not trying to get to the far sideline and losing some more yards there as he gets what he can out of it.
Yeah, he broke that first tackle pretty good.
Sophomore Josh Bennett, 6'2", 240. The future on that offensive line. Getting some reps in there right now. Along with Jorge Acosta, 6'8", 6', 275. So a new look offensive line now. Just a few of the original starters in there. Clock down to 2:54 and running, but it's 3rd and 29. Turner takes it himself. He's hit and dropped in the backfield. As Jordan Johnson makes the stop.
Yeah. Our running game has kind of come to a halt. You know.
Yeah, new quarterback, a little bit of a change in the backs, but new offensive line up front. You know, Toms River has those big guys in there, and it kind of shows you what a job that first offensive line was able to do against them. So Schnell, who's been under big pressure the last 2 punts, and that pressure's been coming right up the gut. Bachman to snap it. Blackwell at the guard spot with Kent. 2 linebackers in there. Good snap. Schnell gets it, and it's kicked. And he gets it out, and it's going to take a nice roll over to 50, or almost over the 50 to the 49-yard line with 1:37 to go. So this will be the last possession probably for Toms River North to try to get on the scoreboard. See what defense Vineland throws out there. Last time it was Blakely for Powell. It's Powell's on the sideline, shaking hands with the coaches. He's healthy. He's fine. He's undoing his shoulder pads. Gives Coach Russo a big hug as Vineland gets their first playoff win I almost called him Stanford. Nazir Broom has the big sledgehammer that's been coming out on the field for years. And now it's just a matter of, do you keep your shutout? Back to pass. Looking deep. Got a receiver, and he drops it. And you know what? A nice job by the officials there. As they were hand fighting down there, possibly a little interference. And after as tight as they've called things, you don't want to hand a big first down to the other team. So a nice no call on there.
This young man for Toms River, he's thrown the ball a lot tonight. For the weather conditions,
I think if they look back at it, they're going to wish they threw more in that first half. Ronald Jackson comes in at nose guard. Looks like Vineland's missing a tackle. And there's a run up the middle. Not much there as Blackwell makes the stop along with Delgado. You see number 30, Lathan Kent, got his first start about game 4. Started for a couple, came out of there, but his play enabled them to move Reyes down to the line, as Kent has done an outstanding job. Only a sophomore. At 6 foot, 200 pounds. 56 seconds to go, and we have a timeout on the field. Kent with 20 tackles, number 30. 20 tackles in limited time. That's Coach Cliff Smith, the defensive coordinator there, with his hat backwards, as he wants this shutout dearly. 81 Jackson standing alongside. And J.P. Garcia wearing number 51. That's Aaron Garcia. So if you're the defensive coordinator and your team's going to get its first playoff win, the last thing you want to do is lose a shutout with under a minute to go. So it may be party time on the Vineland sidelines as this one's in hand, but there's still a little work to do here at 3rd and 6. So Vineland with their A group of linebackers in there. There's a slant over the middle, and Jackson jumps the route. Great job, and that shows you in the future what you're going to have with Jackson. Already averaging 20 yards a catch. Did a great job when Reyes was out at the tight end spot. Gives you some at receiver, and now you see he can play some defense,
Rich,
too.
count the players.
I got 11.
You have 11?
Yeah.
I'm missing
It was
one.
it was the offside tackle. Aaron Garcia was kind of back in the linebacker spot and then ran up late. That's where I thought we had one missing. 50 seconds to go. 4th down. This will be the last time with the ball. Vineland can make a stop. Safety blitz. Doesn't get there. The pass is dropped. Zachary Brown had a chance for the first down, the tight end. And he just squeezes too tight. Incomplete. Offense back on the field. I doubt Toms River is going to use a timeout. Look to see if Vineland gets into the victory formation. Outstanding job tonight by that offense. You know, a little sluggish in the second half, but you have this big lead. You've got some guys resting. Turner has them all tight. Under center, he's going to take a knee. Toms River is going to let it run. So Vineland will have to do that one more time. And that'll put the icing on this cake as the Vineland High School football team comes out tonight. And I believe they did something tonight that I don't think anybody was expecting. You thought they could get a win. You thought they could do it. But 33-0, holding a team to -5 yards in the first half. Just an incredible performance. It's been a long time coming. Congratulations to the Vineland football team, coaches, and fans. This is what we've waited for. Playoff victory, moving on to the semifinals next week. And we'll either be at Williamstown, where the season started here versus Williamstown. In a 10-7 game, Aparicio goes for a field goal, and we don't get it, and then it kind of fell apart. But in the fourth quarter, we're a field goal away from a tie game, and we played them tough. I think this team has gotten a lot better than the first game of the year. We lost a little bit with Shelton going down, but I think the way they rebounded, they've become a team, and a team to be reckoned with as Coach Oz heads across the field to congratulate the Vineland coaching staff. Coach, tell me what happened in that second half.
Rich, it was very uneventful. Vineland had the ball 2, 4, 6 times. They lost one on a fumble. But the exciting part was right at the beginning of the second half. Broom took the kickoff. He went 92 yards for a score at the 11:44 mark. There wasn't much time off the clock. Garton's kick was good and made it 33-0. Tom's River had a couple of good situations where they got into Vineland territory, but never showed any signs of threatening. I think they got down one time under the 10, but a spot penalty put them all the way back to the 30-yard line. So, Rich, it's a great win for Vineland. You have anything to say before I knock this
definitely.
out?
It was a wet, nasty game out there, and a wet, nasty game for everybody that wasn't us on this crew. And we'd like to thank them one last time. Kayla Spire, Tanner Bushman, Jordan Skarzinski, crew chiefs Brian Anthony and Ryan Steinbron, and executive producer of VPS TV is Gia Missouri School District's Public Information Officer. Congratulations to Vineland. We've been through some rough ones, and just so nice for Coach Russo and the coaching staff and the players to rebound from losing your leader, your quarterback, your leading rusher, and to step up and have a game like this is just a real testament to the team and the culture that has been created here at Vineland. Onward and upward. Next week at Williamstown or Township. No final score on that yet. If you listened live, it's also nice to sit in front of that TV Saturday, Sunday at 6, Monday at 7 on Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Fios Channel 41. Thank you, everyone, and we're looking forward to semifinal Group 5 South football next week. One more time, thank you to our sponsors, and congratulations, Fighting Clan.
This is John Parentazzi. For myself and my partner, Rich Scarpa, who does an amazing job in the play-by-play. Have a great week. See you next week.
The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of Vineland High School football team this season. Sir Speedy, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Newfield National Bank, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Caters, Allen Associates, Delsey ShopRite, Bella Limousine, Medio Law Firm, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Technid Consulting, Vineland Education Association, Begel University, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria and Restaurant, MVP Sports Bar, Richling Carpet and Flooring, GNS Dry Cleaners, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Bondi Insurance Agency, Dr. Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, Baruffi Brothers, Beretta Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Luciano Medical, Van Dodge, and Homestead Plumbing and Heating. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.